Consumer Price Index, July 2021. Transmission of material in this release is embargoed until 8:30 a.m. Eastern, August 11, 2021. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 0.5% in July on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising 0.9% in June, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 5.4% before seasonal adjustment. The indexes for shelter, food, energy, and new vehicles all increased in July and contributed to the monthly All Items seasonally adjusted increase. The Food Index increased 0.7% in July as 5 of the major grocery store food group indexes rose, and the Food Away from Home Index increased 0.8%. The Energy Index rose 1.6% in July, as the Gasoline Index increased 2.4% and other energy component indexes also rose. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.3% in July after increasing 0.9% in June. Along with shelter and new vehicles, the indexes for recreation, for medical care, and for personal care increased in July. The index for used cars also increased in July, but the 0.2% advance was much smaller than in recent months. The index for motor vehicle insurance declined in July, and the index for airline fares fell slightly. The All Items Index rose 5.4% for the 12 months ending July, the same increase as the period ending June. The index for all items less food and energy rose 4.3% over the last 12 months, while the Energy Index rose 23.8%. The Food Index increased 3.4% for the 12 months ending July, compared to a 2.4% rise for the period ending June. Chart 1. 1-month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, seasonally adjusted, July 2020 to July 2021. Chart 2. 12-month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, not seasonally adjusted, July 2020 to July 2021. Table A percent changes in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, U.S. city average. Food. The Food Index increased 0.7% in July after rising 0.8% in June. The index for food at home also rose 0.7%, as the index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs continued to increase. This index rose 1.5% in July. This was its 7th monthly increase in a row and followed a 2.5% increase in June. The index for cereals and bakery products, which declined in June, rose 1.2% in July, its largest 1-month increase since April 2020. The index for other food at home rose 0.8% in July, also the largest monthly increase since April 2020. The index for non-alcoholic beverages rose 0.7% in July, and the index for dairy and related products advanced 0.6%. The index for fruits and vegetables was the only major grocery store food group index to fall in July, declining 0.9% after rising 0.7% in June. The index for fresh fruits fell 1.8% over the month. The Food Away from Home Index rose 0.8% in July, its largest monthly increase since February 1981. The index for limited service meals rose 1.0% in July, and the index for full-service meals increased 0.6%. The Food at Home Index increased 2.6% over the past 12 months. All 6 major grocery store food group indexes rose over the span, with increases ranging from 1.1%, non-alcoholic beverages, to 5.9%, meats, poultry, fish, and eggs. The index for food away from home rose 4.6% over the last year. The index for limited service meals rose 6.6% over the last 12 months, and the index for full-service meals rose 4.3%. Both 12-month increases were the largest in the history of the respective series, which were first published in 1998. Energy. The Energy Index increased 1.6% in July after rising 1.5% in June. All the major energy component indexes increased over the month. The Gasoline Index rose 2.4% in July following a 2.5% increase in June. Before seasonal adjustment, gasoline prices rose 2.5% in July. The index for natural gas rose 2.2% in July after increasing 1.7% in both May and June. The electricity index increased 0.4% in July after falling 0.3% the prior month. The energy index rose 23.8% over the past 12 months. The gasoline index rose 41.8% since July 2020. The index for natural gas rose 19.0% over the last 12 months, while the index for electricity increased 4.0%. All items less food and energy. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.3% in July, its smallest monthly increase in 4 months. The shelter index rose 0.4% in July and accounted for over half of the monthly increase in the index for all items less food and energy. The index for rent rose 0.2% and the index for owner's equivalent rent increased 0.3%. The index for lodging away from home continued to rise sharply, increasing 6.0% in July after rising 7.0% in June. The index for new vehicles rose 1.7% in July and has now increased 5.4% over the last 3 months. The recreation index rose 0.6% in July after increasing 0.2% in June. The index for medical care rose 0.3% in July after declining in May and June. The index for physician services rose 0.4% and the index for hospital services advanced 0.5%, while the index for prescription drugs declined 0.1%. The index for personal care increased 0.8% in July. The index for used cars and trucks rose 0.2% in July after rising at least 7.3% in each of the last 3 months. The deceleration in the index was a major factor in the smaller monthly increase in the index for all items less food and energy. The indexes for education, for communication, for tobacco, and for alcoholic beverages all increased in July, while the indexes for household furnishings and operations and for apparel were unchanged. The index for motor vehicle insurance was one of the few major component indexes to decline in July, falling 2.8% after rising in each of the last 6 months. The index for airline fares fell slightly in July, declining 0.1% after rising sharply in recent months. The index for all items less food and energy rose 4.3% over the past 12 months. The index for used cars and trucks increased 41.7% over the span. The index for new vehicles rose 6.4%, the largest 12-month increase since the period ending January 1982. The shelter index increased 2.8% over the last 12 months, and the medical care index rose only 0.3%. Few major component indexes declined over the past 12 months. Not seasonally adjusted CPI measures. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 5.4% over the last 12 months to an index level of 273.003, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.5% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPI-W, increased 6.0% over the last 12 months to an index level of 267.789, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index rose 0.5% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Chained Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CCPI-U, increased 5.3% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.5% on a not seasonally adjusted basis. Please note that the indexes for the past 10 to 12 months are subject to revision. The Consumer Price Index for August 2021 is scheduled to be released on Tuesday, September 14, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.